Greetings, programs. This is Wretch, and welcome back to Vampire the Masquerade Out for Blood. And in the last stream, guys, Michaela pretty much let her truth be known to a large group of adults about vampires being on the loose in Jericho Heights. And we were able to at least get some of them to kind of stay on board with that concept, and we formed a little bit of a Scooby gang, for lack of a better term, to figure out what exactly is going on here in town. But we're moving on to Chapter 7 now, Dicing with Death, which sounds like the most hardcore D&D game ever. But let's see what it means here. The world seemed a bad and terrible place, all its denizens suspect, and I the lamb wandering through the valley of death with a bell around my neck. Charlene Harris, dead until dark. Nothing ever prepares you for Bleakrest House. Even during the daytime on a busy street in a quiet town, you feel your heart beat faster on the way up on the gradual hill towards the front of the colonial home. It looks so different now. The memories of the broken siding, weeds growing between the bricks, and the rust-colored awning come back to you in flashes. When you see Marcus walking up the path, you feel a bit more at ease. He walks with an air of confidence and greets you with a nod. "You ready to do this?" he says. His breath smells like alcohol. A backpack hangs on his right shoulder, and when he takes it off, it clatters on the ground. The zipper pops open and spills out a small crossbow, a mason jar of clear liquid, a wooden cross, and a curved knife. "You must be real fun at parties. Have you killed a lot of vampires?" You bend to help him pick the items up. Marcus reaches to collect the items. "Oh yeah, I'm like a Boy Scout on steroids, always prepared. I hated being in the Scouts though. Kind of ironic, I always argued with Scoutmasters and they always gave me the shit task like digging latrine holes and collecting bark. This day I still don't know why I collected bark. So what's our goal? Personally, I wouldn't mind lighting this whole place on fire. Or if you're not into arson, we could get inside and look around for clues or evidence. I feel like if we had proof, we could take it to the authorities. Do you think they'll believe us? Or would they just lock us up and call us crazy?" Marcus rubs his chin. "I don't know what I would have done when I was a deputy." He looks into the middle distance. "We could just scout things out and come back with the rest of our group, or brigade, or whatever Lamb called us. I like that kid. He has a fighting spirit." He pauses again, distracted. "What do you think?" Well, right now we should do surveillance and gather evidence. I need to learn more about Chastain before we can take action. Inquisitive Path of Knowledge, +8. Marcus strokes his chin. "Alright, I'm on board. Let's figure out a plan before we take action. Just like the freaking Navy SEALs. Let's go." Well, if we want to break in, we need to move around to the backyard and be as quiet as possible. The two of you continue up the hill, staying behind trees and bushes and other obstacles in case the residents of Bleakrest House are watching. It's different from the last time you were here. The crabgrass and weeds no longer dominate the fields leading up to the house. Now, flower pots and sculpted bushes line the path, and a perfectly green, uniform lawn spreads on either side. You remember your time here as a child. An image of you, Adam, and Salem pops into your mind, the three of you standing at the back door and searching for a way into the abandoned house. Not a house, but a temple built by a madman. Serial killer. The corner of your eye twitches and you catch sight of a rustling bush. You keep your gaze forwards as to not alert the person or thing following you. A soft tap of footsteps tells you it's drawing closer and closer. A grunt, a sigh, and then another grunt. Sounds are human, and coming from a child. You turn and spot Michaela poking her head out from the top of the hedge before disappearing behind it, so you... Calm plus survival. Dex and clan... Okay, let's see. Composure is 2. Survival is 4. We definitely got to do that. We're just going to walk over and drag her out of the bushes. Show her how out of her depth she is. Domineering plus 12, impulsive plus 11. Not wanting to waste time or play games with this girl, you march to the front row of bushes and cut along the side of the yard to the back part where she's hiding. Reaching to the top of the bushes, you grab her arm and pull her out. Hey, let me go! She stumbles along as you nearly drag her back to the path. Once on the cobblestone, you release her. What are you doing following us? You say to her. Marcus walks over with his hands on his hips. What's going on here? Michaela folds her arms over her body and swivels back and forth. I wanted to go with you. I wanted to see how you handle the vampires. No one's ever believed me, so I had to come with you. I knew you wouldn't let me come if I'd asked. I wouldn't have said no. Well, I guess I see your point, Marcus says, dropping his arms by his side. I'd rather you go back home, but I can't exactly make you. Just do me a favor and stay back. If anything happens, or if there's danger, or if I say run, you run. Those are the rules. Can't follow them? Then I'm just going to take you back home. Deal, she says with a huff. At the end of the walkway, you cut across a manicured lawn and along the side of the house, now painted bright white and navy blue, far cry from the dirt-stained and chipped gray paint from yesteryear. You move into the shadows where you belong right now. The wind blows against you, and the house creaks like it's forever settling, and each sound has you checking over your shoulder. Marcus stays right behind you, and you can tell he's just as rattled. So, what's our plan? He asks in a whisper. We'll find a way inside and search for evidence. I'm not saying I know that evidence, what that evidence looks like, but I know we can take an image of her. Maybe Dracula doesn't cast a reflection, but real vampires do. Maybe we can show her fangs or something else that will prove her true nature beyond a shadow of a doubt. First, we have to find her and do it without J-Field or anyone else inside there stopping us. You creep along the perimeter of the house like a ghost, floating along with quiet steps. Each break in a blade of grass or each rustle of a fallen leaf has you freezing in place until the trip towards the back of the house has you second-guessing your reason for being there. When you glance over your shoulder, you see him crouched and ready with crossbow in hand. As you turn your attention back to the house, something hits your foot and you leap sideways. You stifle a cry of pain as the top of your foot throbs. Sorry, Michaela whispers from the side of you. I was walking too close. A waist-high iron gate encloses a colorful garden of purple, orange, and green flowers. Bumblebees buzz through the air and you shoo them away as you lift the small latch to enter. A square porch sits in the back of the house with a leather couch and two wicker chairs that collectively look more expensive than the mortgage payment on your new house. Marcus passes you and races to the back door. He raises his arms as if to strike the glass. Wait, we can't just break in like that. They may have traps or something, Michaela says. Marcus backs away, resting the crossbow along his outer thigh. Alright, I guess. I don't see any alarms. There's a basement window, though. You follow where he's pointing and see a rectangular pane of glass about the size of a toaster oven. It would be hard to squeeze your body through that window to gain access to the basement. Michaela drops her hands and knees and peers through the glass. It looks like a basement, but there's a wall a few feet ahead and the whole thing is painted black. I bet that's where she sleeps during the day. We could break into the first floor and see what's around. There may be more to this house that we need to know, you say. Michaela flattens on her stomach and brings her hands to each side of her eyes to shield the glare from ambient sunlight. What do you think we should do, guys? We've got a chance. We have two options to go into the basement. One is to just go and try and find Chastain. The other one's to gather evidence. And then there's, hey, let's go ahead and check the first floor. Where's the set fire option? Strangely, it did not give us a set fire option. That's what I would do. What do you think, Kath? Like, going directly to the source sounds nice, but we have no idea what's going to be. Yeah. First floor. I know sometimes being overly cautious could be a bad thing, but yeah, first floor definitely. I'd like to have a look around the first floor before we try and find Chastain. Inquisitive. Marcus nods in agreement. Michaela shakes her head, starts away from you, and then walks back. This doesn't make any sense. We don't care what's on the first floor, and we're wasting time. If Gabriel finds us, he's probably going to lock us in a cell until Miss Chastain wakes up. Everything I've ever read says vampires wake up hungry. I wouldn't worry too much. You're barely a snack for her. It's Marcus and I who should be worried. She stomps her foot on the ground. You're not taking this seriously. I'm not going to die because you're too busy making jokes. Okay, fine. Just settle down. Just want to take a quick look around the first floor, and then we'll find her coffin or the rafters where she's hanging upside down. Marcus drops his pack near the front porch. I'll keep watch while you go in. I'll send you a text if anyone shows up. You climb the porch steps and move to the open window. Long blue curtains blow in the wind and settle apart to give you enough of a view into the home. It's the first time you've looked inside in many years. A shiver runs through your body. Yes, that is a choice Lost Boys reference about hanging from the rafters. This is Bleakrest House, a mythical place in the minds of all residents of Jericho Heights. And you're about to go inside. With a nod to Marcus and Michaela, you lift a leg through the window and balance yourself to climb onto the landing. Polished hardwood floors offer a modern look to a home you remember well before this makeover. The walls are painted a light gray with navy blue accents, and the ceilings have recessed lighting, though they're off right now. Walking around, you immediately come to a door on your right, though it's locked. You move forward and check the door on your left, opening it to reveal a closet of winter coats and umbrellas. You run your hand inside and check along the walls, half expecting secret doors or entrances to hidden passages, but nothing reveals itself. Moving farther into the home, you step closer to the front door and hear the pitter-patter of footsteps. You scrape along the floorboards and pick up speed until a gigantic tan dog stops near the front door, some 10 feet from where you stand. It has a short muzzle but stout build like a U.S. Marine in canine form. When he stops to look at you, a pulsing growl emerges from his throat. You recall a YouTube video you watched some months ago about this particular breed, a bull mastiff, one of the most loyal and tenacious guard dogs in the world. The dog takes a few slow steps forward. You can tell he doesn't appreciate you being here. Your instinct is to run for the window and dive out, but can you outrun him? You could call out for help, and maybe Marcus will hear you. Then again, maybe Jayfield will hear you instead. The dog doesn't look openly aggressive, so if you show him you're no threat, he may leave you alone. You need to interact with the dog, which increases the risk of attack if he's not looking for a new friend. As you consider your options, you glance over your shoulder at the closet door. Maybe you can get the dog inside it? Before you can decide on the best course of action, a fog creeps into the corners of your eyes. You're having another vision. As you begin to focus on the developing image, the bark of the mastiff pulls you back to reality, and your heart leaps in your chest. Make friends with the bull mastiff? Need that sweet, sweet animal kin, as it was called in previous versions of ETM. Okay, res survival, manipulation, subterfuge. Resolve and survival is 7. Yeah. Okay. Time to break out our inner Disney princess, folks. Make friends with the bull mastiff and show him that I'm no threat. Kind-hearted +4. You take a deep breath and try to relax before interacting with the dog. It's not easy considering his mouth is the size of your entire neck. Knowing canines react to the stress of those around them, you sit on the ground with your side to the dog so he views you as non-threatening. Here, buddy. Come here, boy. You say in a high-pitched voice. Hey, buddy. Come here, boy. He takes a few steps forward and tilts his head down. You can read that he's unsure of you, but he's showing curiosity. Good boy. You're a good boy. You make kissing noises with your mouth to entice him over. You pat your hand on the hardwood floor by your side. He looks from side to side as if he's searching for an answer somewhere, and with his tail wags, you relax even further. He's not afraid of you, and maybe even a bit excited. You raise your voice even higher, another trick to make yourself less threatening, and you place your hand flat on the floor to your left. You keep calling him, and each time he moves closer until he's right at you. The tag hanging from his collar reads Blade. He's panting so much that his hot breath hits your face. It smells like meat, but you hold in any discomfort from the pungent odor. You slide your hand along the floor, and he lowers his muzzle and gives you a sniff. With your other hand, you reach over and pet under his chin. He lies flat, and you pet him along his back. Before long, he rolls to his back, giving you his belly to rub. Only takes a few minutes of this until he closes his eyes and starts to snore. You stay there for a few minutes and keep him company. But when you're sure he's asleep, you rise and tiptoe past him to search the first floor. You move towards the front of the house, creeping along like a thief, taking each step with careful precision not to make noise. The floorboards creak from time to time, and you listen for any sounds indicating you've been detected. Though you're visiting during the day, you don't know all the rules about vampires. Can Chastain walk in daylight? Does she assume another form that can move around when the sun is up? When you walk into the living room, you see it bathed in a cream color with all the walls and ceiling painted off-white. Opposing couches are darker white, while several lamps have a touch of blue, and several vases add color to the room along with a dark brown hardwood flooring. Vases or vases? I say vases, but I don't know why I said vases like that. An eggshell-colored Turkish carpet lies in the center of the room. Stairs lead up to the second floor, and over a fireplace hangs a painting of a blonde woman in a green robe reclined on a bearskin rug. On the far left is a closed-off room with an unlit sign reading "On Air." A piano sits along the corner with dozens of framed photos covering the top. Your keen eyesight picks up the images of multiple people in those photos, some of which are not the residents of this home. I mean, we can assume that Chastain is the lady in the painting, but let's look at the photos on the piano first. Over 24 photos sit atop the white piano in the corner of the room, all pointing to the player's bench. Chastain in a red dress, Chastain in a black pantsuit, Chastain in a kimono. Image after image of her, all taken at night or inside a building. This means she must avoid the sunlight? Or is this some setup to trick people into believing she's a creature of the night? You see her with the mayor and members of town council in numerous photos, and even some in front of the hall of her library. You look through each of the photos at a methodical pace, mostly out of curiosity. Each of these photos shares a slice of Chastain's life. Or is it unlife? One strikes your eye, a photo of Chastain in a far more casual outfit and fit and demeanor. She wears a concert t-shirt for the band Vampire Weekend with a pair of ripped jeans and thigh-high stiletto boots. She stands in front of an immense speaker beside an outdoor stage. Besides the irony of her t-shirt, she stands beside someone you recognize. The younger woman has silvery hair, looks to be in her late teens, and wears similar rocker clothes. Her tongue's out, and she holds up double horns with her fingers. That expression resonates with you. The girl in the woods. On your drive into Jericho Heights only a few days ago, you met this girl in the park. What's the significance? That's the question, but you know there's a reason you're seeing this photo here and now. Something scratches at the back of your mind, and now that you've seen it, you can't settle on leaving it there. As you reach for the photo, you pause. Should you take it? If Chastain or Jayfield play this piano, one of them will know it's missing. Forgetting about the risk, you could show this photo to others and determine the connection between Chastain and the missing girl. You could take a photo with it on your phone. One of your friends can still tell you about the girl in the woods. Maybe they know her or can help you search for her identity. You may not need the original or the digital copy to gather further information. It's all about the level of risk you're willing to take. I don't trust taking a picture of anything. There's something going on that is keeping like a lot of the photography kind of things from actually developing, literally and figuratively. So I don't think that snapping a photo of it would be smart. So if that doesn't work, we're back to the third option of leaving the photo alone and not putting ourselves at risk. So out of these three options, I would say taking the photo and doing a no risk it, no brisket thing is probably going to be the best option, because otherwise it's just going to end up like we're not going to have a photo. Because if the photo doesn't develop, we can still tell them, you know, what's there. Does that sound logical? Because every single time that we've had something on the phone, it has blanked out or gone away. It's almost like someone is like intercepting the pictures and like deleting them off the cloud somehow. Risky but not unsound. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do it. Let's see what happens. Take the photo. We need to find out the identity of the young woman from the woods. You grab the original photo off the piano to take with you. This will help reveal the identity of the younger woman. One of your friends may recognize her, or you can ask around town if anyone knows her. With that decision made, you step away from the piano. A text message comes through from Marcus. Spotted someone upstairs. I think it's Renfield. Looks like he's moving around up there. If you're around, be extra careful. X plus clandestine. We do not have any of those. I know that's the painting is Chastain. Let's investigate the side room with the podcast room. You step over to the door and listen before entering. Nothing comes through the wooden surface. After a few moments of waiting, you turn the handle and ease the door open. The room is set up like a professional radio station. An iMac Pro sits on the desk on one corner with several pieces of high-end equipment that look like audio interfaces and sound mixers. Two sets of headphones and microphones on extendable arms sits on two opposing stations across a wooden table. Extra computer monitors are spread around the table as well. A speakerphone sits in the middle of the table with several cables wired to it. This is obviously where the podcast is recorded. You move around the room and spot a door labeled with a sign, Staff. Opening it, you see a room filled with memorabilia from an earlier era of entertainment. Framed programs, playbills, movie posters, and photos all aged over time, and many in black and white. You see one common word, vaudeville, across all articles in the room. One of the framed photos stops you. The image of a blonde-haired woman from 1909, and a placard reads, The Train Station, with Maud Templeton and Amanda Chastain. You stumble backwards and bump the wooden table, knocking over a display table. Peering at the photo a few feet away, you see an image of Chastain. E. Chastain. It's her name and her face, and that would make her over 100 years old. Reality sets in. You're staring at proof that Chastain has lived over a century. She's a vampire. And if you take this photo and show it to someone in authority, they'll have to believe you, right? Photos can be doctored, but the police can prove if it's fake. Of course, there's a risk. If Chastain finds out you took it, she won't be too happy. It's similar to the debate you had with the photo of her with Monroe. You could take an image of it with your phone. You already took a picture of vaudeville Chastain, so what's one more photo? You would certainly be building up your body of proof. And then again, maybe your word is enough. You could at least assure your friends that Chastain has lived since the early 20th century, and this may point to just how powerful she's become. This may be the only proof you need. Oh, man. So here's the thing. If they're always in the podcast room, if they're always checking that stuff out, I assume that they would notice that the photo was missing from there more faster than noticing that the photo's missing from the piano. Does that make sense? So Let's go ahead and snap a photo. Ah, man. I feel we can't get away with this one. I think this one's going to be the kicker. We'll snap a photo. Idealistic +5. You want this photo, but don't want to risk taking the original. A digital copy will suffice. You take out your phone and open the camera app. You snap several photos at different distances for the best clarity. While someone may argue that these images are doctored, they'll be hard to dispute. Stepping away from memorabilia, you leave the recording room and close the door behind you. Heavy footsteps pound from above, moving from the back of the house to the staircase. Retracing your steps, you rush back through the side hallway. Lade lies on the floor, snoring with his body shaking and paws twirling like he's dreaming. You step past him and move to the window and climb outside. As soon as you're outside, you rush to the path leading away from Bleakrest House. Marcus is there waiting for you along with Michaela. Let's get out of here, you say. While you walk away from Bleakrest House, you... Okay. Let's go ahead and show Marcus and Michaela the photo. You hold up your phone and open your photo app. Wait a minute. Oh, as you swipe to search for the photo you took inside the house, you say, I want you both to see something. While I was inside the house, I took some photos as evidence that may help prove Chastain's a vampire. I have it right here. Marcus and Michaela move in on either side of you. You scan the photos but can't find any you've taken today. You flip through the dozens of images. Nothing. You can't find them, right? It's just like my video that disappeared, Kayla says. What are you talking about? You ask. Takes a step back. Last year I took a video of Amanda breaking into my neighbor's home. I knew she was going there to drink his blood because she's done it before. Somehow that video got erased, but I swear I didn't do it and no one else can get inside my phone. Not even my mom. So maybe her image can't be captured on film. It, fades away or something, Marcus asks. You shake your head. You're thinking of Dracula or another story about classic vampires. From what I've read, that's not true of the supernatural. This is something else at work. I'm wondering if Chastain has someone working for her who scans the internet and removes things that she doesn't want out there. Like a hacker? Michaela says. That's what I'm thinking. Or a team of hackers. It's something we should investigate if we're going to go up against her. So I like this because now, despite the fact that we did get the least important of the clues, I would say, we do kind of have our eyes thinking hey, something's going on, someone's deleting stuff, and that's probably going to lead to other stuff, other issues, other storylines. Okay, discuss the photo of Chastain and the young woman from the park that we saw on the piano. The living room has a large piano with a dozen or so framed pictures on top of it. One of them is a picture of Chastain with this young woman who I met on my way into Jericho Heights a few days ago. You describe what the young woman looks like with all the details you can remember. Wait a minute. I thought I took it. I took that photo, didn't I? Marcus's eyes grow long, like he's watching someone in the distance and slowly recognizing them. He pulls out his smartphone and taps on the screen, swiping vigorously. The final tap, he holds it up to you. Is that her? You stare at the screen and see the woman from the park. Yes, that's who I met out at the park, and that's who is in that photo with Chastain on her piano. Wait, let me see, Michaela says. As she stares at the picture on the screen, her squinting eyes go extra wide and her mouth hangs open. Marcus holds back the phone and taps the screen. That's Monroe Duncan. Are you sure you met this girl a couple of days ago in the park? No, I like to kid around about missing people. Of course I'm sure. Marcus raises his hands to the top of his head and paces in a wide circle. Michaela wraps her arms around her body and crouches. I'm freaking out, she says. Marcus strides back to you and gets in your face. Think about this hard, because what you're saying is serious. What was she doing out there? Was she hurt? Scared? Did she know who she was, or did she have any memory loss? What did she look like? Look, I'll do the best I can to answer every question, but we all need to calm down, please. He backs away and raises his hands like he's surrendering, and you continue. She looked perfectly fine to me. She was dressed normally, spoke well. She was even pretty confident just hanging out in the woods by herself. There were no signs of distress or confusion or anything like that. It was definitely her. She talked about Jericho Heights and even knew my grandfather. We need to talk to Sheriff Ray. If this is a lead, we have to tell him so we can investigate, Marcus says. And Lacey asked me to go to the sheriff's office with her. I can talk to him then. If Monroe is still alive in the park, the sheriff's office needs to investigate. As you continue down the path, you tell them about the recording studio and the photo of Chastain from her days in vaudeville. As I was searching the first floor, I found the recording studio for their podcast. When I went inside, I saw this huge display of memorabilia and photos from the days of vaudeville. What's that? Marcus asks. Michaela whips out her phone and taps the screen. Well, Wikipedia says it's a type of entertainment from the early 20th century featuring specialty acts doing song and dance, so it's like a talent show? You nod your head from side to side. It's kind of like a talent show, but this is before television, and from what I know, it was just as popular. But the reason I bring this up is because I saw a photo of a young woman advertising one of her vaudeville shows. The woman's name is Amanda Chastain, and when I examined the photo, it looked just like the Chastain who lives here in town. Wait, that means she's over 100 years old? It's a damn long time to be on this earth. Great work, Morgan, Marcus says. +5. Oh, this is an actual piece of evidence. That's exciting stuff, Kayla says. As the three of you continue on, next to you, that's all I share for now. That's weird though. Could this be one of the side effects of continuing on after a patch? Because I took that picture. Oh well. Alright, we've been here long enough. I'm heading to the park to join the search party for Tyler Sanders. Marcus, are you going? He nods. Oh, I completely forgot. But I signed up. Let's drop Michaela off first. I need to stop at home to drop off my gear. You walk away from Bleakrest House, looking back only once to see the looming house in the background. When you were growing up, you saw it as a place of evil, a lair where a monster took refuge and planned his next kill. Has anything changed? Experience points +3. Oh, and we are already at the next chapter, guys. That was a short one. I guess it probably could have been longer had we actually gone into the basement. But I like the fact that we actually got some evidence. Kind of confuzzled as to what we actually did, but you know, the good news is all we got proof, at least to ourselves, that Chastain is a vampire, and 3, all of us got back unscathed and unbitten by Blade, and Blade got belly rubs. So I consider it a very productive night, to tell you the truth. So we will go ahead and end the stream here, and we will pick it back up, or this episode, and we'll pick it back up next time. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you haven't followed the Twitch channel, please do so. I try and stream on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays with random times in between. And if you're watching the replay of this on YouTube, I have a link to the Twitch channel down below. Go ahead and give us a follow if you feel so inclined. And I also have a link to my Extra Life page where I'm raising money for my local children's hospital via the awesome Extra Life charity. So check out those links if you have time. Like, share, subscribe. You guys know the drill there. And we will see you next time. Later days, everyone.